Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Gathalion, and we're back here in the Destiny beta to take a look at another unavailable, but we can take a look at it, subclass. This one is one that really interests me because, as you know, I like melee type classes, so I gravitate to the striker subclass for the Titan, and I'm really excited about the Blade Dancer subclass for the Hunter. I did a video on that, so check that out on my channel as well. But today we're going to be taking a look at the Defender Titan subclass. The Defender is more of a tanky, take a lot of damage and be able to help everybody else in the group, sort of like a utility type class, so it seems. So we're going to go through his skill tree just like we did the Blade Dancers and go over skills one by one. Now, obviously, you can see that he is heavily armored. The recovery and agility pretty low on this guy, so his regen of his health and shields is pretty low, and he's also going to be quite slow. So we're going to start off with the grenade tree. Obviously, you get one of these as a choice, and then for your abilities, you get to choose these, and then these are your augmentations for it. So we're going to start off with the grenades. Magnetic grenade, a grenade that attaches to an enemy and explodes twice. So this is actually pretty cool. It doesn't say whether or not it goes off if you just throw it at the ground and if it'll explode twice, or if it'll just explode once if you hit it on the ground. It says that it attaches to enemies, it explodes twice. So that's sort of double your damage there, depending on how powerful the grenade actually is. Spike grenade, a grenade that attaches to any surface and emits a torrent of damaging void light. So that sounds like it's kind of I don't know, a constant AoE type thing. You could throw it on a wall, throw it on the floor, throw it on the ceiling. This might be useful for enemies that are behind cover or whatever. So this looks like it's sort of like an AoE type pulse grenade, similar maybe to the pulse grenade that you get on the striker subclass, but I can't say for sure. The next is the Suppressor grenade, an explosive grenade that prevents enemies from using abilities for a short time. Now this is actually pretty fucking neat. I don't know how this is gonna work on bosses, but I know enemies like wizards actually could do sort of like a charge up blast at you. So this could be pretty useful against enemies that do attacks like that. It'll give you and your group a short amount of time to not have to worry about taking a lot of burst damage. I'm sure they'll still probably be able to shoot at you with their normal guns, but as far as super abilities from enemies, this probably holds those down. So, like I said, this Defender subclass is looking to aim at being sort of a utility class and a tank class. Alright, so next we're going to look at his jump ability, which is pretty much the exact same thing as the Striker Titan. You have his lift, which lets you jump up in the air, and it sort of acts like a jetpack. Increased height is the first augment. Obviously, it just increases the height of the lift. Increased control is the second augment. You could only choose one augmentation for your abilities. And then the other one is Catapult, which upgrades the lift to provide a strong initial burst of momentum, which I haven't gotten to play along with, but it looks like it's going to increase your height quickly, but it probably doesn't send you quite as high as increased height. Next, we're going to take a look at Ward of Dawn, which is his super ability, and this sounds really cool. Now, shape Void Light into an indestructible shield to protect you and your allies from harm. The first thing you're going to think of is the Dome Shield, the Bubble Shield from Halo, and I've actually seen some screenshots and some videos of this in action, and that's exactly what it looks like. It also sort of looks like the phalanx that goes over Axton's turret, if you spec into that, if you are a Borderlands player, to give you a little bit of reference for that. So now we're going to look at the augmentations. Armor of Light. While inside Ward of Dawn, you and your allies gain significant damage resistance. This seems like it's probably going to help against things like splash damage, grenades, things of that matter. I would imagine that standard projectiles probably won't be able to make it through the Ward of Dawn. The next thing is the Blessing of Light. Passing through Ward of Dawn grants you and your allies a temporary shield. So if you go into the Ward of Dawn and you don't have a shield, you will get a little blue shield around your character, probably similar to that as if you do a revive on a character, you get a temporary shield on you. So it would be nice to pass in and out of the Ward of Dawn if you're in a sticky situation. This is going to be really useful in areas that require you to move around to get a good vantage on an enemy and get some damage on them. The next one is going to be Weapons of Light. Passing through the Ward of Dawn grants you and your allies a temporary increase of weapon damage. This is awesome. This is going to be really nice and probably necessary to take down certain raid bosses, certain strike bosses. I imagine that this will be really, 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 really useful, especially for things like rocket launchers and really like low fire rate, high burst damage. This will help you take out enemies really quickly and do a lot of burst damage. We're going to take a look at the Defender's melee override. Of course, every character has a melee override that has a cooldown. Now, when you use that melee button, it does something special, but then it goes on a cooldown and you have to wait a little bit of time to be able to use it again. Killing an enemy with this powerful melee attack creates a force barrier around you, which absorbs incoming damage. So basically, you kill an enemy with your melee override, and you get tankier. You're going to be able to take a lot of damage. So I could see this going into specs where people are using a lot of strength on their character, which of course reduces the cooldown of their melee override. Let's look at the augmentations. War Machine. While Force Barrier is active, all your weapons reload and ready blindingly fast. So you're looking at a situation where if you kill an enemy with your melee ability, you will be reloading super quick and coming out of your melee ability to be ready for more gun shooting action a lot faster than standard. Now, the next augmentation is Gift of Light. When the shield created by Disintegrate is active, all of your skills have a chance to create orbs of light. Now, this is actually really super cool. Orbs of light, if you were not aware, regenerate your super or your friend's supers. Your orbs of light cannot be used by you, but this is going to be really useful inside a group. Skills include things like your your grenades, or your disintegrate, or just your Ward of Dawn, which doesn't do damage, but this ability helps you create orbs of light as a defender subclass, since your super is not an offensive super. The next thing is Unbreakable. Force Barrier continually recharges. So this is actually pretty cool. It seems like if you get your Force Barrier from Disintegrate, and you don't completely deplete it, it doesn't get shattered. Force Barrier continually recharges. I don't know if this has like a set amount of time or if it's infinite. I imagine it would be a set amount of time that it just continually recharges and you are just a super walking Hulk of tanky mass. Next, we're looking at the Titan Codexes. Obviously, these augment your Titan to be more specialized in like armor, recovery, agility, or any combination of two. Usually, it's just 2 out of these, so you pretty much, this one is battle, recovery, and speed, armor and agility, and recovery and armor. So whichever way you want to spec your Titan, these are what you want to look at. Okay, so next we're going to look at this tree here. You can obviously only select one of these. You're looking at Bastion. Increases the duration of Ward of Dawn, which is going to obviously be useful. Relentless increases the duration and strength of the shield created by Disintegrate. So that one that sounds cool. Like if you're going to have to soak up a lot of damage, Relentless sounds like it's going to be pretty cool. Gift of the Void. As Ward of Dawn takes damage from enemy fire, it creates additional orbs of light. Now, this goes back hand in hand how the Ward of Dawn, well, it says additional orbs of light. So it sounds like when the Ward of Dawn takes damage, it's gonna create orbs of light. That's not something that it says in the actual description of it, but this Gift of the Void actually suggests that it makes orbs of light, but as it takes damage, it says creates additional orbs of light. So maybe this one just ups your orbs of light production. So if you spec into this, you're pretty much, I'd say if you want to really be like a full-on utility for your group, you could get Gift of the Void, and you could get, where was it? This, a Gift of Light, and you'll just be an orb of light creating machine, which will of course make your teammates be able to use their supers much more often, and I don't see that as a negative thing. That's great. Next, we're looking at the next Titan Codexes. You can get any one of these in this tree. So this one is an overall bonus. This one is focused on maximum recovery, and that's focused on maximum speed. So if you do play a Defender Titan subclass, you're not going to be just bunkered down into being like just a tank, just slow. You're going to be able to be maneuvering around the battlefield and being an all-over utility boss, which is kind of sounds like pretty interesting to me. We're gonna take a look at the last tree, Untouchable. Not only does it increase your armor a little bit, but it reduces the cooldown of Ward of Dawn, very useful. Iron Harvest, heavy weapon hit kills have a chance to create orbs of light for your allies. It really sounds like the Defender Titan is just an orb of light factory if you spec him correctly. Illuminated increases the benefits granted by Blessing of Light and Weapons of Light. That is awesome. Going back to those, Blessing of Light and Weapons of Light give you allies a temporary shield and increase weapon damage. So if you spec into this, your usefulness is just through the roof. And then Illumination, as always, seals this subclass, locking previous choices. So basically, it makes you, it gives you more armor, but it also locks every other choice in your subclass. And I also have a video going up on my channel, if it's not up already, that explains how subclasses work and how locking your subclass isn't the definitive end of growing your character. Anyways, guys, so that'll wrap it up for the Defender Titan subclass. I'm excited about this one. Usually, I'm not huge into like utility characters, but this character sounds like he's built really well, and I do tend to like tank characters as well as melee-based characters. So, I like this. This sounds really cool. Let me know how you feel in the description down below. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys back in Destiny.